Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your cannabis business podcast. Back with us is Rohit Srivastava, chief investment officer and portfolio manager with Saroj and Bhanu Fund, to kind of give us an update on his AI-based algorithm, technical analysis, predictive analytics. So tell us a little bit about what's going to happen. With first the disclosure that this is for entertainment purposes only.
Thanks, Josh. Yes, reiterating your disclosure, that disclaimer that this is completely for entertainment. We're not giving any professional advice. We're just here to teach and educate and have some fun as well. So do not take this as a professional investment advice. The equal weighted investments, which we have been talking for months now, it just talks about like how it's equally weighted from all these 19 to 20 stocks we have been investing. This was about like 4 or 5 months ago. This was about a month ago, more than a month ago. This is 3 weeks ago. This was last week. And here we are back in that same state where we were last week, which is that it is hovering over the 475. It broke last week, the 475. So it is a little bit ahead right now. But I think it's a very good sign that it is still hanging on to that 475 support. And we were seeing a downturn later in the last 2 months of last year. But looks like it is trying to hang on to that 475 support. So it is a very good sign. On the cash flow side, this is where it was last week. It crossed the daily average value trade per equity last week. And like we talked last week, that, you know what, the key part of that is it has to hang on to that. It doesn't have to be spiking like we have been seeing in the last couple of months, that which avoids us to get into that trade. But the good news is that this week, it is still hung on to that. And a little bit of fall after that sudden spike was probably normal, but it looks like it is hanging on to that. So it is, in my view, it's actually a good sign that it is hanging on to that, and would still want to invest cautiously as long as it stays in that mode for some time. From the short-term and long-term buys, there is a little bit different thing happened this week, which is, you remember last time we had these 5 stocks. We were holding Cara, Cron, GWPH, IIPR, and ZYNE. We were holding these 5, but last week there was this data was suggesting that we should be selling, and it actually sold 2 of those, but it actually rebought it this week. And this is how the AI system works. It basically, when it sees a risk, it tries to sell it off, and when it basically when it feels that, you know what, it is time to buy back again, it gets back into the trade. So last week we sold it on a couple of profits, and this week we basically got back into those 2 stocks again. So overall, the summary of what we're doing is that it basically is holding on to 475 support, which is a very good sign. It looks positive. It looks going in the positive direction. In the coming week, I think it will reconfirm as the market is turning, as the earnings are coming out, and as the buyers are trying to get into that. From the short term, we sold ZYNE on a loss. We probably did not talk much about that. I think we sold that on a loss. And this is the part where I want our viewers to understand that this is not like every time accurate thing. We do have some cases where there is a loss, and the smart thing to do is basically take the loss when it's needed to. And so we sold ZYNE on a loss, but we still are substantially ahead on Cara and Cron on that. Now, one of the thing which like we have been talking like this about, reminding the users that, you know, we basically sold ABVV around like on 12/10. I think we sold on 12. Oh, and I think the start of the year. But the purpose why I'm telling this is that this is the significance of this AI-based system is that we sold it around 89, and since then it has been turning around, and that's where the AI systems identifies that where is good time to buy and where is not a point to sell. And similarly with the ZYNE, which we took a loss on, that is how the system identifies that, hey, it's okay to take a loss, move on, and find other fishes in the pond. So that's what I have for today, Josh.
Yeah, also one of the smallest market caps we have in that index, so not all that surprising. It could swing one way or the other. That's kind of the risk reward there. But with that, we're going to roll this one up. I want to thank my guest, Rohit Srivastava, Chief Investment Officer and Portfolio Manager with Saroj and Bhanu Fund. Thanks again.
Thank you.
I'm Josh Kincaid. This is The Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.